Shalom, shalom to the 144,000, the elect. Before I get started, let me give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Hashem, Yahushua, Hashem, Rakar Kudash. Double honor to the apostle nails of great millstone. Peace and blessing to the brothers that are preaching the truth in the four winds of the earth. May Yahweh, Hashem, Yahushua, have mercy upon you. Alright, y'all. I decided to, I've been holding this for about like 2 days now. I think since the first strike they hit hit this boat out of Venezuela, saying that that it was full of drugs. There were drug smugglers. Hey, so I got a few videos I'm gonna click on. They fairly short, you know, between 2 to 4 minutes, and we're gonna go into it. We're gonna see if they after drugs or they after oil. So here we go. Let me turn this up real quick.
That President Donald Trump shared this dramatic video of a U.S. military strike that blew apart a Venezuelan drug boat in the Southern Caribbean. It left nearly a dozen suspected Tren de Aragua narco-terrorists dead. The president later shared a video of the strike on Truth Social, confirming the blast occurred in the Southcom area of responsibility, while Fox News reports the terrorists were in international waters transporting illegal narcotics to the U.S. A lot of questions surrounding this video and what the Trump administration did. So
now dig this. You're gonna hear it. I'm gonna put it up, but they said that this boat was not even in the it said it was outside of the our zone before as we consider to be American. You know, I'm not very familiar with what's the zoning concerning, but they was clear. Several videos that I watched, people said, they said that they was clear that Trump had no business striking this boat. In other words, regardless of what's on the boat, they had no business because it's outside of their jurisdiction, but they still struck it.
We want to play out the very latest from this Wednesday morning as Pete Hegseth joined alongside Fox and Friends with an exclusive interview. Take a listen.
Good morning. So the president good to see you too. Thanks for your service. The president put that video of him eviscerating, blowing up that boat coming across with all of the drugs on board. And the president said on Truth Social, let them be on notice to anybody bringing drugs to the U.S. Beware. So the president is sending a message to other cartels, right?
A very clear one. I can tell you that was definitely not artificial intelligence. I watched it live. We knew exactly who was in that boat. We knew exactly what they were doing, and we knew exactly who they represented. And
hey, man, look, I'm just reporting the news now. I'm just reporting what they got. You know, we know that these people are very deceitful. You know, this may have happened or it may not have happened, but we will see as the days go. Because they claim that 11 people was deleted. that they was claimed that was part of this so-called cartel.
And that was Tren de Aragua, a narco-terrorist organization designated by the United States, trying to poison our country with illicit drugs. Last year, under the Biden administration, all 4 years, 100,000 Americans died from drug-related, from the use of drugs, many of which poured in from Central and South America through our southwest border. Now, we're sealing the border, but President Trump is willing to go on offense in ways that others have not been, and to send that clear signal to Tren de Aragua, Cartel del Sols, and others emanating from Venezuela. We're not going to allow this kind of activity. You're poisoning our people. We've got incredible assets, and they are gathering in the region.
How to justify going into someone else's country and just taking over it? You know, the same way they do, we just say the so-called black man over here in America. What do? They constantly what? Demonize us. and call us terrorists. When we don't own no kind of military, can't fight back no kind of way. The only thing we may have in America is what? Well, most of us can't. I mean, don't have guns. Because why? Because they have gave all of most of us, probably 90% of the so-called black men in America has what? Felons. So when you have a felon, you can't what? You can't own what is called a weapon, right? So this is what they do. They demonize you. They make up stories, or they do actions like this here, blowing up the boat. You know, allegedly, I can't say nothing is true or whether it's fake or not, right? To do what? I'm gonna go into it. You know, let's just read it right quick, right? Let's read this right quick concerning Venezuela, their oil, because know that America has a what? Been trying to put sanctions on Venezuela, right? But now you know Venezuela is in line with the China, Russia, I think India. I want to say India, but anyway, let me just read this right quick. Venezuelan oil represents the world's largest proven oil reserves, primarily heavy crude found in the what? In the Orinoco belt, but production has fallen significantly. Why though? Due to, this is what they say. Why? Due to have it fallen, or are they dealing with the East, Russia, China, all of the nations in the East, huh? But what? But production has fallen significantly due to what? Mismanagement and U.S. sanctions. So they have sanctioned Venezuela, right? So hey, we're the world's largest proven oil reserves. So we don't have to deal with you all. We can go deal with China, go deal with Russia, all of the nations out where in the East with what is it called? God damn it. What Russia got going on and their allies, right? I'm trying to cram quite a few wrapped in what, less than an hour. But production has fallen significantly due to what? Mismanagement and U.S. sanctions, despite the country's vast natural wealth. They don't not just only have oil, they have other things, right? Despite the country's vast natural wealth, its oil industry suffers from what? Economic and political instability. That's what they say, right? This is what they say. You know, over the years, Iraq, when America wants to take something, they're gonna demonize you, man. They're gonna have you looking into this when actuality is this. Despite the country's vast natural wealth, its oil industry suffers from what? Economic and political instability. That's what they say, right? Could it be because they are not dealing with America anymore, and America thought they were going to what? Halt their preserves, which is with their oil, because they have the largest oil preserved in what? In the world, resulting in a decline from its peak as a major global exporter. Recent events shows limited reopening of the sector, with Chevron receiving a license to resume production and export to the U.S. market following a pause in shipments to the U.S. Huh? Could that be the cause of what we see, and not this so-called cartel members being what? So-called cartel. Let me see. Venezuela holds the world's largest. The largest oil reserve. Venezuela holds the world's largest proven oil reserves, estimated at what? 304 billion barrels. These reserves are largely composed of extra heavy crude oil found in the what? In the Orinoco Belt, a unique and valuable source. Historically, context, oil productions boomed in Venezuela after World War I, making it the world's leading oil exporter by what? By 1929. The nation's economy became heavily dependent on oil revenues, a characteristic of what? A petrostate. Challenges of decline, poor governance, mismanagement, they say, and chronic under investment, what led to what drastic decline in oil production over the past 2 decades. U.S. sanctions imposed due to concern about democratic governance further restricted the oil sector. See, this is about oil, people, not about drugs. You think these people care about y'all dying every day when they trying to shoot some shit up in you to take you out left and right? And we know what that means with this that C-19, huh? And so you think they worried about you all dying because of drugs? No, America has always had a hidden agenda, because why? This is what they do.
And so you want to try to traffic drugs? It's a new day. It's a different day. And so those 11 drug traffickers are no longer with us, sending a very clear signal that this is an activity the United States is not going to tolerate in our hemisphere.
Well, Mr. Secretary, you made it very clear when we had the opportunity to visit the southern border at Fort Bliss. The Southern Command knew exactly where these folks were and that you guys were going to take them out. I guess the question is, for this operation specifically, was this a drone attack or was this hellfire from a helo?
I can't disclose precisely how this went down. I can tell you it was precision. It was very well understood exactly what assets would be used in order to achieve the effect. So that's classified how it was done. But you can see publicly a lot of the assets that we have in the region, which to include an ARG-MU, which holds 2,200 combat infantry Marines and has plenty of its own organic assets. So we've got assets in the air, assets in the water, assets on ships. Because this is a deadly serious mission for us, and it won't stop with just this strike. Anyone else trafficking in those waters who we know is a designated narco-terrorist will face the same fate. And it's important for the American people to protect our homeland and protect our hemisphere.
So their leader, Maduro, who we put a $50 million bounty on his head, has called out to China for help in this. And China's condemning the U.S. And saying, I shouldn't use the word condemn.
Let me read something real quick, y'all. Now, I'm going to go back up here first. It said Venezuela is what? It said, why is Venezuela poor if it has oil? This place is not poor, right? But this is, I'm just reading. Listen to this here. Venezuela is poor despite its what? Vast oil wealth due to what? Combination of Dutch disease. Same way you may want to show so-called Africa, which is land of ham. They want to show you the bad portions of what we consider that what most people may think that. Listen, man, before social media, man, the American TV only showed us the people that were sick with flies flying all around, the disease. You know, this is what they put in the people's mind, that this is how the people over there in the continent of Africa were living. But hey, we're in the era of social media where someone can be in a whole other country, miles and miles away, tens of thousands of miles away, and we can view what's going on in their country via. Okay, now Venezuelan oil. Let me see. If Venezuela still no. Is the U.S. getting oil from Venezuela? Listen up. Yes, the United States receives oil from Venezuela, but the amount varies due to what U.S. sanctions that were what briefly lifted in 2023 and then reinstated, though what exemptions were granted to what to companies like Chevron for what operations in Venezuela, while U.S. imports of Venezuelan crude fluctuated. The country was what the second largest receiver of Venezuela oil exports in what in 2025, according to. See, these people, this is about all people. This isn't about not about no damn drugs.
They're warning us we should look out for the different countries' integrity. Are you worried about China and their relationship with Venezuela, and how will that affect our policy?
No, the only person that should be worried is Nicolas Maduro, who's running effectively as a kingpin of a narco state. Not.
They demonizing them. See, that's what they're good at. That's what they're good at. They just demonize and just like they done the president with that guy in Iraq. God damn it. I can't think, y'all. Y'all know who I'm talking about, right? But anyway, this is what they good at. They good at demonizing and saying that this is they are what he's pushing drugs in our country daily, hourly. Bunch of devils, man, demons, man, bunch of liars.
Actually elected and indicted for $50 million by the United States. And we know he's involved in the types of drug running that has affected the American people directly. So China and other countries are going to say certain things, and that's their prerogative. What we have there in the Caribbean is a clear demonstration of military.
Let me see something. Let's see if the comments on. 1 second. Let's see the comments on. I voted for this. Show that video to the Somalian pirates. That's the only language cartels understand, okay? So proud of our president, boy, I tell you. See how they eat this shit up here? They eats it up, man. Trump, Vance, 2025. See, it's easy to trick American people because they are the most dumbest people on the face of the earth. Thanks to all, this is what I voted for. Thank you, President Trump, for everything you do for us. Beautiful. Pete, 2025. Great job. Bravo. This is a new trend under, okay. Let's see if anybody going to have any sense. Let's go to about 25 or 30 of these messages. Let's see if anybody, because they fairly short. Keep it up. Hoping for daily drug run or kill cartels. Great work, Pete. Headline drug traffickers have bad trip. Hunter's coke is what delayed in transit. This is the first time I agree with Trump. I'm glad our president did this. We're tired of it. Exactly, I voted for. Best way to take out trash. See, these mega thank you, President Trump, winning a regular trend in the United States. Be careful. The Democrats will come out and say, see, they were Democrat Republic shit. See, these people over here, man, are lost and destroyed.
Military might. President Trump has shown, whether it's the southwest border, whether it's the Houthis in freedom of navigation, whether it's Midnight Hammer in Iran, that the precise application of American power can have incredible impacts and reshape dynamics around the world.
Okay, I can't tell them more they lies. Let's click on the next. Let's do this here right quick. Let's go. This is about like 2 minutes. Let's click on now. This was a day ago. Now I'm gonna click up to the earlier of it. I mean, you gotta realize now I'm clicking on most of these things. I'm clicking on it's Fox because they have the most excitement and concerning and lies, should we say? But hey, concerning the reasons behind it, right? If they have done something, you can best believe that Fox is gonna report a bunch of lies. Here we go. Let's go to this tracer here is called Reuters. So let's click on this here. I know y'all give me commercials. See something.
A U.S. military strike on an alleged drug boat from Venezuela killed 11 people Tuesday. That's according to President Donald Trump, who shared video on Truth Social of what appeared to be a drone view of a speedboat exploding and then on fire. This marks the first known operation since the Trump administration's recent deployment of warships to the southern Caribbean. Trump said the U.S. military had identified the crew as members of Venezuelan gang Tren de Aragua, and the strike happened in international waters as the boat, which he said was carrying a lot of drugs, was heading to the United States. Washington designated Tren de Aragua as a terrorist organization in...
I want to read that. Let me read that real quick. I thought they were going to read it. Let me see something. Let me read this here. Okay, earlier this morning on my orders, U.S. military forces conducted a kinetic strike against what positively identified Tren de Aragua narcotic terrorists. Well, I tell you, leader Esau-Edom to make up words. In the South Com area of what a responsibility TDA is a designated foreign terrorist organization operating under the control of Nicolas Maduro, responsible for mass murder, drug trafficking, sex trafficking, and acts of violence and terror across the United States. I'm just reading it, y'all. United States and the Western Hemisphere. The strike occurred while the terrorists were at sea in international waters, which was outside of Americans' range. That's illegal. Transporting illegal narcotics, heading to the United States. But let them say up here, the strike occurring while the terrorists were at the sea in international waters, transporting illegal narcotics, heading to the United States. They were not in the United States. The strike resulted in 11 terrorists killed in action. No U.S. forces were harmed in this strike. How can it be harmed? When y'all basically, that's just like dropping a bomb on me. I mean, why would you need to drop a bomb on me when I don't have nothing to fight you? These people are wearing a bunch of bullets, man. The strike resulted in 11 terrorists killed in action. No U.S. forces was harmed. Please let this serve as notice to anybody even thinking about bringing drugs into the United States of America. Beware. Thank you for your attention to this. Now let's hear the rest of it.
Washington designated Tren de Aragua as a terrorist organization in February. On Tuesday, Secretary of State Marco Rubio responded to the U.S. strike.
The president was very clear, and that is we destroyed a drug boat that left Venezuela, operated by a designated narco-terrorist organization, which is what these are. And he's been clear that the days of acting with impunity and having an engine shot down or a couple drugs grabbed off a boat, those days are over. Now we are going to wage combat against drug cartels that are flooding American streets and killing Americans.
On Truth Social, Trump also repeated allegations that Tren de Aragua is being controlled by Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro, accusations that Caracas denies. It all comes amid a massive buildup of U.S. warships in the Caribbean, which exceeds the usual deployments in the region. And last month, the United States doubled its reward for information leading to the arrest of Maduro to $50 million, accusing him of links to drug trafficking and criminal groups. The moves have raised alarm in Venezuela that their government might be the real target of the U.S. Navy buildup. Maduro held a rare press conference Tuesday, addressing the show of force on his country's doorstep.
Es una amenaza extravagante, injustificable.
It is an extravagant, unjustifiable, immoral, and absolutely criminal threat. Bloody, absolutely criminal.
Absolutamente criminal. Ellos han querido...
They have wanted to move toward what they call maximum pressure, in this case military. And in the face of maximum military pressure, we have declared maximum preparedness for the defense of Venezuela.
Máxima preparación para la defensa de Venezuela.
Venezuelan officials have repeatedly said that Tren de Aragua is no longer active in the country after they dismantled it during a prison raid in 20...
Okay, see, now, let's go here, right? Let's go over here. Now, U.S. military strikes on suspected drug smugglers sparked legal and diplomatic concerns. Now, this is on PBS News, right? Now, check this out here. Let's scroll up. Look, comments turned off. Why the comments are turned off? Because there's not a bunch of people on here from America saying, yay, thank you, American, thank you, Trump, for killing those drug dealers and blah, blah, blah. So listen up.
House is signaling a new war on drug cartels. Today, the U.S. designated 2 Ecuadorian gangs as foreign terrorist organizations. And on Monday, the president released video of what the administration says was a strike on a drug-running boat off the coast of Venezuela, where the U.S. Navy now has ships deployed. Nick Schifrin takes a closer look at what happened and at the administration's case for both the policy and the legality of this renewed focus on drug trafficking.
In the Southern Caribbean, a new war on drugs. What has for years been a law enforcement mission, now a military operation that President Trump calls the most effective deterrent.
They were hit, obviously, they won't be doing it again, and I think a lot of other people won't be doing it again when they watch that tape.
The Trump administration has deployed to the region warships and thousands of sailors and Marines that are actively pursuing drug smugglers, Secretary of State Marco Rubio said today.
But this time, we're not just going to hunt for drug dealers with the little fast boats and say, oh, let's try to arrest them. No, the president has said he wants to wage war on these groups because they've been waging war on us for 30 years and no one has responded.
For decades, the U.S. has responded to the region's supply of drugs through interception. The Coast Guard has legal authority to pursue and arrest smugglers. And the Drug Enforcement Agency and other civilian agencies work with regional partners to target supply routes and production in remote drug labs. But the Trump administration argues fentanyl alone has killed nearly 200,000 Americans in the last 3 years, more Americans killed than in war over the last 6 decades. And the Trump administration has labeled drug cartels foreign terrorist organizations, and Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro the leader of a specially designated global terrorist cartel. The Trump administration says this week's strike killed 11, quote, narco-terrorists who belong to Tren de Aragua, which the administration says is connected to Maduro. But today, Venezuela's justice minister called the strike unjust.
What the United States presented as a strike against drug traffickers was nothing more than an illegal massacre in international waters.
Illegal massacre in international waters. Illegal because they were what? No one was in the range, in the vicinities of who? Or what they would call outside of America's waters. So they had no, regardless of what they had on their boat or whatever. I mean, hey man, hey, these people, this is what they do. This is what they do when they want something, want your country, and they'll delete your president that the people chose, and then they'll put a puppet up in there that they have, so they can do what? Take every resource it is that they can take out of that place, man. This is what these people are known for.
They violated international law.
And to discuss this shift in...
Then said they violated international law. When they got ships over there sitting in the waters of those people right now. Huh? Y'all violated. You talking about violating. This is what they do, man. Just like an old woman, man. Just like a woman. Don't never take responsibility and always taking it and twisting and turning it around. Hey man, sometimes you want to explain it and get it out. You can't even get it out because the shit is so sick and twisted until it twists your tongue up.
In U.S. policy, we get two views. Retired Rear Admiral William Baumgartner commanded U.S. Coast Guard operations in the Southeast U.S. and Caribbean, and before that was the Coast Guard's Judge Advocate General Chief Counsel, the service's top uniformed lawyer. And Michael Brown had a 32-year career as a special agent at the Drug Enforcement Administration, where he operated in Latin America. He's now the director of Global Counter-Narcotics.
You already know whose side he's going to be on. He's like an old coon. Look at him. Look at him. You know who he's going to be with.
Technology at Rigaku Analytical Devices, a company that makes devices that can identify unknown chemicals and precursors of drugs. Thanks very much. Welcome, both of you, to the NewsHour. Michael Brown, let me start with you. This new approach of the Trump administration to use the military to target these fast boats and these cartels in the region. Is that the right approach?
Well, I think given the escalation in the use of fentanyl, which is now killing an estimated 100,000 individuals a year, roughly 200 individuals a day, the threat by the cartels has been a terrorist threat for some years, in my opinion. I think now we have an administration that understands that threat, that it surpasses criminal activity of a criminal organization, and that they are now acting as a terrorist organization. So, the implementation of the kinetic strike to combat maritime go-fast trafficking, I think now is an appropriate reaction to the threat that the United States faces.
Admiral, do you believe this is an appropriate response to the threat that cartels pose?
I think the military can certainly supplement law enforcement efforts. We've been doing it for decades and decades. In the Caribbean, it's worked very effectively when we've had enough platforms in a coordinated law enforcement method. Enough platforms is what we need. If we're going to commit more platforms with the military, let's do that, but let's do it within the bounds of the law.
So within the bounds of the law, Mike Brown, you just heard the Admiral say, what's wrong with keeping this within a law enforcement approach, just with an addition of military presence, not necessarily these military strikes?
Well, I've been doing this for 32 years, and I worked in Central and South America.
See, the military presence. The military presence alone, if they say that all of these drugs coming from over here in Venezuela, they say, right, just by having the presence of the military, gonna halt anything anyway. You don't have to blow up anything.
I've worked in the Caribbean. This is about degrading the abilities of the major cartels who are working in conjunction with Maduro in Venezuela, who's also been designated as the head of a narco state. So these mitigating efforts are to break down and destroy the drug supply chains, the cocaine supply chains that fund the operations of the Sinaloa cartel and the New Jalisco Generation cartel. So this is just one part of a much larger kinetic action, asymmetrical approach, which needs to be taken to counter the growth and evolution.
Why would a president that has the richest oil reserves in the world be worried about some damn drugs? Just make it make sense. This shit don't make no sense, but y'all, the American people, again, they're the most dumbest people on the face of the earth. Why would I need to be worried about some drug when I got the world's largest oil reserves? Lies that they preach, boy.
Of narco terrorism that we are now facing.
So, Admiral, what's wrong with that? If for 30 years the U.S. has taken a law enforcement approach, why not add this military kinetic action?
All we did with this military kinetic action is blow up a boat. We don't really know what was on it. We don't have a legitimate...
Now, this was, 6 hours ago. We don't know what was on it. We just blew up a boat. Huh? If most of these news stations saying this here, no, they're not saying this here. They just blew up a boat. Now, this man here was y'all heard it. He worked. That was his job. He was the head commander in those shores, whatever his title was. He was the one that but he did everything by the book. These people are now just doing what they want to do.
A clear, legitimate reason for attacking this particular vessel. In a law enforcement approach, we obviously do. Plus, we get prisoners that provide us intelligence so that we can further develop what's going on. Here, this vessel was on the high seas. It wasn't close to the United States.
On the high seas, wasn't close to the United States. Was not close to the United States. Was on the high seas. They had no right in doing anything to this boat. Allegedly, now. You gotta say allegedly because you don't know what's true and what's a lie. D-Day, when dealing with Esau-Edom, the so-called white man. Well, that's all since they've been in power.
We didn't have any legal justification for acting on that particular vessel. We didn't use any of the frameworks that we've developed over the last 50 years to approach this in a lawful manner.
Let's take a listen on the question of whether this was legal to Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth.
Every boatload of any form of drug that poisons the American people is an imminent threat. And at the DOD, our job is to...
Secretary of Defense, he's with the cause. Pete Hegseth, he's with it.
Defeat imminent threats. A foreign terrorist organization poisoning your people with drugs coming from a drug cartel is no different than Al-Qaeda, and they'll be treated as such.
So, Mike Brown, are these boats imminent threats, and should foreign terrorist organizations, as designated by the Trump administration, be treated like Al-Qaeda?
Well, that's the whole purpose between the president's new designation of FTOs, foreign terrorist organizations, in which he outlined the top narco threats to the United States. And if these organizations are so engaged in that activity, supplying narcotics, which are poisoning American citizens, then those actions need to be taken. We took the same.
Admiral, could you respond to Secretary Hegseth's statement? Every boatload of any form of drug that poisons the American people is an imminent threat, and they will be treated like they are Al-Qaeda.
Well, first of all, they're not Al-Qaeda. Al-Qaeda set forth to kill American citizens. As much as we despise what the cartel are doing and what their narcotics may do when they get to the United States, they are providing something that is being demanded by the American public. And we should be addressing demand. We certainly should be doing that. But to liken this to Al-Qaeda and what Al-Qaeda wants to do to our people, it's just not the same at all.
See, just make it up as you go. Just make it up as you go, y'all. And the American people just sucks it up.
And the designation as a foreign terrorist organization is not to start, it does not justify lethal force against them wherever you find them, whenever you want to find them. It is to cut off material support to those organizations. It's a very well-defined statute as to what it means. And it does not mean open season and kill anybody you think might be a member of one of those organizations.
Michael Brown, you're not a lawyer, but can you respond to that?
See, this house Negro, I don't want to hear him. He's with the car, he just repeating himself and repeating what Trump and the other people saying concerning it, right? I don't want to hear this house Negro.
In the U.S. to mitigate this threat in order to save more American lives.
Admiral, you were the top uniformed lawyer in the Coast Guard. If you had the ability, or if the military had the ability in years past, when you were in that position, to take this strike, what would your advice have been?
Well, first of all, I'll tell you, I was the commander in charge of doing these operations in the Caribbean. That's what I did in my last 3 years in service. So forget about whether my legal advice would be. I was the commander that would have taken charge and directed the law enforcement action in the Caribbean. We absolutely would not have launched a lethal strike on a vessel when there was no warning to the vessel. We didn't even know for sure who was on.
They ain't even warning the vessel, y'all. No warning, no nothing. Just blow it up. This is what they did. This is what they done. Just that. Why you think the comments turned off right here? Huh? Why you think the comments turned off? Huh? Let's hear that again. Let's bag it up a little bit.
Law enforcement action in the Caribbean. We absolutely would not have launched a lethal strike on a vessel when there was no warning to the vessel. We didn't even know for sure who was on the vessel. We didn't know the destination of the vessel, and hadn't enacted any of the multiple procedures that we have for interdicting, identifying, and appropriately addressing the vessel.
Michael, see, never identified the vessel, what was on the vessel, but let them tell it. It was full of drugs, huh? Anything that you transport over the seas in a boat as such, what's going to happen? What's going to happen? You're going to have it. You're going to have it covered up. You don't want it to get wet. They never said. They never. They just blowed it up.
Take on that last point, the point of deterrence. The president has made this point. Does this deter future drug smugglers from trying to go from Venezuela or the Caribbean up to the United States?
Well, I think what it deters the rest of the international community from cooperating with the United States. The United States has been a leader in building coalitions. We've done that on legitimacy. We've done that.
A leader in building and what? And breaking. Huh? That's what they do. They make building and breaking. And at the same time, they'll build them and now they're breaking them. And now they definitely are losing allies daily.
On the rule of law, this will deter all of those nations from cooperating with us and will do great harm to our ability to address this problem. Will it deter an individual vessel from launching and trying to make a trek? I don't really know if it will.
Admiral Bill Baumgartner and Michael Brown.
That's it. Now let's I gotta get a few precepts in before I close this out, right? Let's go to Ecclesiasticus. What I want 10. Ecclesiasticus 10 and. Okay, 10 and let's start at the top. Right? A wise judge will instruct his people. In the government of a prudent man is well ordered. Meaning prudent, someone that is cautious, someone that give careful advice in his decision making when he make decisions concerning as such. President said that by his authority, he told them what to take it out. Huh? A wise judge would instruct his people, and the government of a prudent man. The word prudent goes into what again? Someone that is cautious, someone that use very careful and wise decision. Right? Is well ordered. As the judge of the people is himself, so are what? His officers. So if Trump wicked, everybody under him is wicked that work for him, right? And what manner of man the ruler of the city is, such are what are all they that dwell therein. An unwise king destroys his people. This is what you're seeing. This is why people are struggling. This is why people are catching hell over here in America, because the resources that normally that was flowing through America, it has ceased. And in the process of these things ceasing from especially China, man. Yeah, 80% of the shit we get over here is coming from China. You can't. You can never knock that. Man, they can always pick up whatever they're lost by dealing with Americans. Even though Americans, they buy unnecessary shit, especially these women, they buy shit with it that they don't even need all the time. Let's go to Ecclesiasticus 12. Good chapter to read, especially concerning never trust thy enemy, for like as iron rusteth, so if his wickedness. But I'm gonna go down here to verse 16. An enemy speaks sweetly with what? With his lips, but in his heart he imagineth how to what? How to throw thee into a pit, meaning the grave. He will weep with his what? His eyes, but if he find opportunity, he will not be satisfied with blood. This is Esau-Edom, the so-called white man, especially these Americans / these small hands over there, man. They are some deceitful, wicked individuals, man. Right? They are the wicked of the earth. They're the devil of the earth. Can't get past it. The enemy speaking sweetly, and they always speaking softly and sweetly with their lips. But they always what? They always showing you that what? They are a bunch of devils. Because everywhere they go, it was nothing but bloodshed. But in his heart and bodies, he imagined how to what? How to throw thee into a pit. He will weep with his what? His eye. But if he find opportunity, he will not be satisfied with blood. If adversity come upon thee, guess what? Thou shalt find him there first. You're going to find the American people, government, military, there first. They are full of lies, and they are not. They have never been. Americans have never upheld a treaty with any nation that they have signed a treaty with. Man, they have broken all of them, every single one of them. If adversity come upon thee, thou shalt find him there first. And though he pretend to help thee, pretending that he's helping the American people to stop the drug running, even though he's pretending to what? To stop, to care about the people, and he's stopping the drug running for what? Because let's put this on this real quick. I want to see if I keep this boat. I want to get this boat here, y'all. 1 second. I don't know if I can. I might not be able to get it. Anyway, I'll just keep that on out. Let's see. Hold up, y'all. Can't leave that on. Let me put this on here. Alright, again, an enemy speaks sweetly with his lips. Now, at verse 17, Ecclesiasticus, which is in the Apocrypha, 12 and 17. If adversity come upon thee, thou shalt find him there first, and though he pretend to help thee, yet shall he what? Undermine thee. This is what they good at, y'all. They good at undermining and what? And not giving a damn about no treaty that they made with anyone. And in the process of them taking all your shit, they're going to do what? They're going to take you out, man. As soon as they find, you can best believe that them ships over there, which on the screen, over there in Venezuela, in their shores, in their waters, you think they're not keeping tabs and flying drones and shit and trying to locate this man's location so they can do a strike on that man? It's going to happen. It's going to happen. Just a matter of time. But guess what? They're with Russia, China, and other nations outside of the Western allies. Right? If adversity come upon thee, thou shalt find him there first. And though he pretend to help thee, this is what they're good at, yet he undermine thee, he will shake his head and clap his hands and whisper much. Here we go, we know where he at. Strike him. And just make up whatever. And change his what? His countenance. Meaning he's what? He'll change upon your ass. The Esau-Edom, the so-called white man, will change upon you, man. At a click that you can clap your fingers, man. Real quick, let's go to what I want, Psalms. Real quick. I want 64. Psalm 64. Psalm 64 and let's see. 64 and verse 5. They encourage themselves in an evil manner. And that evil manner is what you see now. They're being deceitful, claiming to what? To help the people. Just like in the days to come, in the New World Order, they're going to pretend to what? To help the people. What? New World Order / MOTB. Right? So most of you all are going to what? Are going to fall in line with what? With what's going on, because most of you all are what? Are just dumb. American people are dumb. Especially you so-called white people. And you Israelites, which you wicked 2/3. They encourage themselves in an evil matter. They commune, meaning what? Meaning they gather together of laying snares privately. Feeding you what? By doing what? False, feeding you false information. Right? You know, different than a brother the Israelites. Doing what? Teaching you false and misleading you. These people what? Esau, who was the greatest liar and deceiver? This is Esau-Edom, the so-called white man, blessing man, being able to deceive masses of people concerning a matter. They say, who shall see them? They say, who shall see them? They search out iniquities. They accomplish a what? A diligent search. Both the what? The inward thought of what? Of every one of them in the heart is deep. This is what these you know what? Let's explain that a little more better. Let's go to Michael. Michael, right? Or 2. Esau-Edom, the wicked man, there was something else, man. But hey, but the Heavenly Father got that scope on. Soon he's going to be in a predicament where he's not going to be this verse 2, which is Michael 2 and 1. Woe to them who, the wicked elite, that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it, because it is in the power of their hands. Huh? Military presence in these people's shores. Huh? How can you just make up a narrative, take 11 lives, and in the process of taking 11 lives, now like the man said, that they didn't verify, didn't give any warning. All they did was what? They just deleted the folks. No warnings. Woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it because it is in the power of their hands. And they what? They covered fields. That's Esau-Edom what? In the process of taking land. The process of taking oil, resources. Taking out their president, putting their puppet up in there. Once they get their puppet up in there, they own the country. And take them what? By violence, their military. And houses. And soon they what? They're going to own every family structure and house that exists in what? In those shores of Venezuela. And take them away so that they oppress a man in his house, even a man in his heritage, in the same manner that they done us, the Israelites. They have taken everything, took everything, our land, and in the process took our land, took our heritage. We can't even call ourselves who we are without what? Negative backlash. But soon, let's go to Job. Right? What I want? Job 20. I ain't gonna worry about him soon. Real soon, he's gonna let what I want to start at. Let's go to Job 20 and verse 20 and 5. That the triumphing of the wicked, Esau-Edom, is short, and the joy of the hypocrite is but for a moment. That goes. You can Obadiah 1:18 goes into him being what, being deleted from off the face of the earth real soon. After 1,000 years, 1,000+ years of him serving what, serving the Israelites. Though his excellency mount up to the heavens, his space program, his planes, his ships, they're what? They have satellites. Though he what? Though his excellency mount up to the heavens and his head reach unto the clouds, guess what? Yet he shall perish forever like what? Like his own dung. They which have seen him shall say, where's he? Just like these Israelites is destroyed. Don't know who the hell they are. Most of them don't know who the hell they are. They're what? They're in every different religion and man-made religion and they just run around like chicken with their head cut. Most of them don't know damn thing. And they pushing this JC like it's nothing. Right? Like it's the, I can't say nothing. Take that back. They pushing JC, Jesus Christ, like he's like, hey man, the so-called white man has pushed himself as being God, and you Israelites, which you wicked 2/3, you all are pushing it just as hard. It's not harder than what? Than the so-called white man. When most of them, they don't even a so-called white person will tell you in a minute, man, I still don't goddamn Jesus. And the image look like them. That should make you stop and think and scratch your damn head and say, damn. Anyway, he shall fly away as a dream, verse 8, 20 and 8. He shall fly away as a dream and shall not be found. That goes again to Obadiah 1:18. They're going to be what? They're going to be exterminated. He shall be what? Chased away as a vision of the night. That I also, which saw him, shall see him no more. So all of Esau-Edom lies is going to catch up with him. All the wickedness that he has portrayed on earth, and all of the blood and the bodies of that who possessed more bodies in bloodshed than Esau-Edom, the so-called white man? No one, man. No one. They have taken out more people than what? Than all the nations together. Y'all Arabs some wicked niggas too now. The eye also shall, which saw him shall what? Shall see him no more. Neither shall his what? His place any more behold him. Let's drop down to verse 11 of Job 20 and 11. His bones are full of what? Of the sins of his youth. And what is the sins of his youth? Which is the sins of his forefathers. No one has paid for what? The sins of, they have not paid for all of the death and destruction that they have been putting our people to since we've been over here in America, man. Start with slavery, hangings, slaughtering, bombings. His bones are full of the sins of his youth, which shall lie down with what? With him in the dust. Though wickedness be sweet in what? In his mouth right now, it's sweet in his mouth. His lies is what? It's taken as what? As being truth. Though what? Though he hide it under his tongue, start with the secret societies of the Amalek. They are hiding, though what? Though he spare it and forsake it not, but keep it still within his mouth. Yet his meat in his bowels is turned, it is what? The gall of asp within him, meaning poison. He has swallowed down riches, taken the world, man, and still not satisfied. He has swallowed down riches, and he shall vomit them up again. So it won't be long. Esau-Edom will vomit up the riches that they have stolen and taken from starting with who? The Israelites. And that can go into, I'm not going to read it, which is Ecclesiastes 10 and 8, which is because of unrighteous dealings, injuries, and riches, gotten by deceit, the kingdom is translated from one people to another. So this is what the process that we are in as Israelites is waiting for what? The prophecy to unfold. So we, as Israelites, which is the true rulers of the earth, to be back in what? Into power and authority of the earth. Because at the present moment, the people are moaning. Huh? When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. No one is rejoicing. Everyone is catching hell here on earth because Esau-Edom, the so-called white man, the wicked of the earth, has destroyed the earth. So when that note say, call Allah Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahushua, Bahashim, Rokah Qudash, Shalom.